Welcome to Latino Talk TV. I am your host, Ben Mendez. Today we're going to talk about the Latino Film Festival coming to Houston, and we have two very special guests. We have Jumpin' Jess, also known as Jesse Rodriguez, and we have Juan Garcia. Jesse, thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ben. It's always a pleasure coming on the show, and congratulations on the show. It's always a wealth of information for the community.
And Juan, thank you as well. I know you're a busy man, so thank you for taking the time. But I wanted to talk about some current events before we get into this discussion. As you know, today was the last day for Obamacare sign-up, registration.
Right.
Now, there's been a lot of hoopla about the Obamacare, and I have not been on the website, so I cannot speak from experience, but obviously there was a lot of chaos initially because the website was down and so forth. And today I heard the website was down again, and probably because there was thousands of people.
Right, overload, right,
overload, yeah. So I can understand that. But what are your thoughts on the Obamacare?
Well, I think it's a good. I think it's, a lot of people call it the Affordable Health Care Act, of course, and I know that the people started naming it the Obamacare. I think it's the Republican side doing it just to kind of, knock the president and so, I know it's kind of, the name is kind of over, taken over regards to the official name, the Affordable Health Care. But bottom line is that I think we're due for health care, but I'm hearing a lot of things, a lot of negatives about it too. Like one thing a friend of mine told me is that she didn't qualify because she didn't make enough money. And then I'm hearing the other thing is too, that they're saying the website was down today. I was hearing that on the radio. People were calling the black radio stations were promoting it very, very heavily. And people were calling in, asking for the number, doing things the last minute. And they kept saying that, of course, the people weren't answering the phones, that the website was down. And then I was listening to Al Sharpton on Sunday on his live show, and he was saying a lot of people were misdirected. They're calling the state agencies, and the state agencies are giving them the wrong information. So there evidently there's a state insurance line, and there's also the federal insurance line. And so there's a lot of misinformation going on, so people don't know which direction to go.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with the deadline. Is today really the deadline, or perhaps they'll extend it? But that's another discussion to have at the White House. I'm sure they're already planning what's going to happen. Did you sign up for the Obamacare?
I did not. I didn't need to, but I agree with Jesse. And I mean, we had the same controversy with Social Security back in the 30s, right? And
well, I wasn't born back then. If you say so.
Well, I take it from you. But so it was. We did. It was horrible. So there's always going to be controversy. Just like Texas state law, we have to have car insurance. It just makes sense that we need to have health insurance. The more people that have it, the less the cost is back to the government. So, are there always going to be growing pains with it? Yes, of course, it's a new thing. So it's to be expected, and I'm pleased that we're moving forward with it.
Well, another item in the news: the young lady that is going to court. Actually, she's in trial right now for killing her husband with stilettos. She stabbed him 25 times.
Wow.
25 times. Now, that means that every woman in town is carrying a weapon.
Lethal weapon.
A lethal weapon. So I don't know about you, but it's powerful when you have a stiletto 3 inches kicked into your eye. I mean, that's...
Ouch.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. That's some powerful stuff, and obviously it caused... it was fatal for the man. And so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it was just a little... she's probably guilty at that point, because that's an overkill, like they say in the situation. 1 or 2 times, but she was pretty mad to kill him 25 times. So evidently, the passion of wanting him dead was definitely very eminent in her thoughts, and to get it carried out. And I'm sure she's going to be found guilty for, at that point, or found crazy.
Crazy? Insanity?
Yeah.
And that seems to be a route that a lot of people go to. They don't want to face that time. What are your thoughts?
If the shoe fits, then you convict. If the shoe doesn't fit, you don't convict. So
You got it wrong, Juan.
is it? Do I?
If your shoe fits, you quit. Johnny Cochran.
That was it? Yeah. Well, those were her shoes, definitely, right?
I don't know. I guess she's gonna have to try them on to make sure. If not, they're gonna go around looking for pull a Cinderella.
Malaysia, the flight that left Malaysia going towards China, still missing. They have not found it in the sea, in the Indian Ocean, as they thought they found some debris in the Indian Ocean, but that didn't happen. So the search is still on. I think that 3 weeks is a long time for a missing plane. The chances of them finding are slim, especially in an ocean this big.
And I heard that they only have about more than 6 or 7 days to find it, because the black box, the battery runs out in the black box. So at that point, if they don't find it within the next 6, 7 days, they won't have the information they need to find out why the plane went down. So it's very important they find it within the next 6 days.
Yeah.
And today, striking news from Korea. North Korea and South Korea exchanged fire today, gunfire. So there's a lot of hostility going on right now. North Korea is talking about testing their nuclear weapons, and right now is not a good time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future with North Korea and South Korea, because that impacts all that side of the world. So we'll see what happens. Another thing in the news today, 5-year-old boy that was kept in the closet by his parents was rescued today. And it's unfortunate that we still have people locking up their children. I mean, come on, 5-year-old, locking them up in the closet, letting them sleep in the closet. What are your thoughts on parents like this?
Well, it sure is a indication that we need to better educate our parents, the parents, not our parents, but educate parents, because that's wrong. And I'm sorry to see that. But
yeah, I mean, there's no right answer for this one. The parents need to go to jail, or something needs to happen quickly. This 5-year-old boy has suffered, and it's time that we wake up as a community. If you know somebody that's locking up their children, report them, please. CPS, HPD, et cetera, they need to be reported. They need to be put in jail, for one.
Oh yeah, bottom line, it's a terrible crime, and people have to be sick to do something like that. And everybody's always saying, well, why do people do things like that? And I've been on your show before. It's because they don't have God in their life. If they had some kind of Christianity in their life, or some kind of belief or faith in their life, they wouldn't be doing those kind of things, Ben. So it's very sad, very, very sad that we're having that child and the community is suffering from things like that.
Let me change the topic 180 degrees here. Houston Astros kick off their season tomorrow. Baseball here in Houston, and obviously it's a big deal. We're a sports town as it is. We really would like to see a winning Houston Astros team. I don't know about you, but I see very few great players, if you will, on our roster compared to some of the other teams. It'd be interesting to see what happens in the future of Houston Astros.
Well, they're saying right now, I've been listening to a lot of sports talk radio, and they're saying they only see 4, maybe 5 top players. The rest of them are new players. Right now, we're picked to lose. There's a 250 to 1 odds that we'll get into the World Series by Las Vegas. So we're picked to be the worst team in the national.
So you're gonna go vote. You're gonna go put some money down in Las Vegas against Houston Astros?
I don't think so, man. 250 to 1. I mean, that's a good pot. If you put $100 down, you may win $25,000. But I don't think it's going to happen. And it's very sad. It's just they're trying to. Everybody's saying it's a growing thing, and it takes a little time to build it. We got a great farm team, and it's taking some time to build, and they're saving money. But the sports talk radio, they said it's been the last 2 years. It's been very sad. By now, we should see some progress. We're not seeing that progress right now. They're all upset about the cable contracts with Comcast and this and that. They're worried about too many other, money things, and not really worried about building the team. So it's very sad for Houston.
In our other sports team, the Houston Texans, big quarterback controversy. You like the current quarterback? You like it's a Yates, I believe, and what is it? Keenum?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
I haven't kept up with that, Ben, but I'll say one thing, and it goes for the Astros and the Texans, is that when we go to a ball game, we're not looking. Of course, we love to see the home team win, but it's really a fun time with the family. And it's like baseball is so much fun just to go out there and be in the ballpark, especially at this stadium.
So you like the atmosphere?
I love the atmosphere, and just going out with the family and just sharing the day and with other families and everything's really going on. We get to see great teams come into town.
Yeah. And not to mention the Houston Rockets. They're doing a great job. They're
Oh,
fantastic right now.
Yeah, they're looking really
They're
good.
looking good for the playoffs. I think they're number 4.
Right, number 4 right now. But San Antonio's kicking our butt too. I mean,
Oh,
they're like
San Antonio's great.
17 straight wins. They're going for 18 tonight. So, and they're tying the franchise record. So they're looking really good. And as right now, the big question whether they're going to get a quarterback or not. They're saying for sure the Houston Texans will draft a quarterback, and there's top 3 choices out there. And so a lot of people want Manziel, so they're figuring that hey, we get that A&M.
The dollar.
Yeah, but A&M. I mean, Manziel, he's good for the industry. He did a great job. They had on his pro day, and scouts said he looked really good out there. So hopefully, he'll be the pick. Not because my son went to A&M or anything, but just basically, I think it's just good for the business, good for Texas.
Well, and in just a minute, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about the Houston media. We're going to talk about Tejano music for one after the break, because we have our legend right here, our DJ legend, was on radio for 25 plus years on Kakuka and other stations. And I tell you what, it is a pleasure to have our Jumpin' Jess from Houston, Texas joining us today. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Latino Talk TV. I'm your host, Ben Mendez, and we have Jumpin' Jess, the legend from Houston, Texas with us. And we're going to talk a little bit about Tejano music. And as you all know, we don't have a real, what I would call on-air Tejano station here in Houston. And it's unfortunate. San Antonio, obviously, they have one. The Valley has one, or several, I should say.
Right.
And I'm not sure about the other big cities. You know more about this than I do.
Well, what we do now with the technology, we have what they call HD radio, which is high definition radio. So we can listen to the San Antonio station here in Houston in your car right now. Most new cars have what they call HD radio. So we can listen to KXTN 107.5 you go to 10.29, which is Stereo Latino. You go to HD2, which is another channel, and you can listen to San Antonio. And that station is in Dallas and the Valley and Austin. And so people have the option to listen to that. And a lot of people are buying it and listening and enjoying it. You don't get the community news that we used to have at Kakuka when LULAC was doing an event, or the Cesar Chavez Parade. There's nobody really actually out there supporting those local community events. The Little League opening that was like Dixie Little League this past Saturday, Boogie and I used to be out there promoting them, being out there on the parades and letting people know. So there's really no community notice or news anymore, but the music's out there. And I'm glad you brought that up, Ben. There's a couple of things that really blow my mind. Campaigns are going to start. Next, and you were part of the campaign, next year is going to be the 25th anniversary of the Go Tejano Day. And what we're going to do is start a campaign, and we're announcing it today, that we're going to try to get Roberto Pulido, Emilio Navarra, and Vicky Carr back as an anniversary. We're starting a campaign. We're going to start a petition for everybody to commit to buy 2 tickets. And we're just going to do a 1-year campaign, a petition, online drive, a petition, a written, and just some kind of media campaign to get the people to, hopefully force the rodeo. We don't want to take away the Mexicano Day it is. Just give us our anniversary date. Give us a little respect. And I know, Ben, you're a champion trying to change things at the with the rodeo. I know you even had your life threatened in this situation, and I applaud everything you did to try to make this happen. But we're going to go back at them again one more time and say, show us the respect you're due. The Go Tejano Committee, they do a great job, but at the same time, they don't respect them because they don't give them their choices of entertainment. You could put, excuse the expression, but you could put a monkey in an accordion out there and you'd sell out because it's Go Tejano Day. A lot of people don't even stay for the entertainment no more. They just leave. But, give us our respect. Give us our tradition, give us our Tejano music back, and that's what we're asking for.
Oh, this is the first time that I hear about this. That's great. I applaud your efforts. Let's talk a little bit about the Tejano music history, if you will, here in Houston. Now, I don't know the details, and maybe you can share with us. Kakuka was, what was the last date?
It was back in, I want to say, well, actually, we started it up about 88. It was a top 40 station with Spanish language DJs. And then when Gordy and I, we were invited over about October 88, I want to say, and we had a Sunday show, was 3 hours of playing Tejano music. Then because our soul showed out, it became 4 hours, 5 hours. Then they gave us a Saturday show of 5 hours. Then later on, the need kept coming up. So they had 1 Tejano song an hour, then became 2, 3, then we became 24/7. So we're actually the first 24, what we call 24/7 Tejano music station in the United States, 100,000 watt. There were stations out there, but they were not big stations, 100,000 watt stations. Well, that lasted a couple of years until the Bakers sold it to a company called El Dorado Communications, which is out of California. They took it, we were in bankruptcy, and there was jokes behind it because we used to run to the bank to try to cash our checks because the last person, a radio DJ, went to the bank, didn't get their check cashed because there wasn't enough money in the bank. So, I mean, it's funny, it's sad, but it's funny. But leading on to the next thing, the Bakers, who they actually used to own KRBE, Roland and Edith Baker, that's where the KRBE came. A lot of people don't know about that. Sold the station for $11 million. So they got it out of bankruptcy to El Dorado Communications, Tom Castro and his other.
What year, more or less?
That was back in, I want to say, 91 or so.
Okay. Man, it's been that long.
Yeah. So
Kakuka has disappeared.
Yeah. Well, anyway, then they kept Kakuka, and then they opened up the other station, the one that was 107.9. We had 2 Tejano stations at one time. We had Kakuka, and then we had, trying to remember the other station with Bo and them, which was 107.9. And so that was, so we actually had 2 stations going on. And then eventually they sold it. They sold Kakuka to what is Univision now, which is Hispanic Broadcasting Company. They sold it for $85 million. And so everybody asked, well, why don't we have another Tejano station? Why don't we have, it's just a matter of money. The people that owned it were Hispanics, and they were, Mexican-American, but they didn't care about the format or the community. They were out of California. They were here to make money. Then they turned around and bought some more smaller stations, and then they turned around and sold those stations, So now it was just a matter of economics, Ben. So, I mean, a Tejano format would definitely still work here in Houston. The same Tejanos that were listening to the station, like you and me and Juan, 25 years ago, are still around. We're still here, and we're still Tejano music fans. But it's just the fact of the matter, nobody wants to take a chance on the industry anymore. And they're always saying Tejano's dead, it's not dead. It's just was my good friend Bob Gallardo, the producer, said, it's the support mechanisms are not there anymore. Because you need the support mechanisms to have the record labels, the marketing, the distributors, the stores to support it. But our music is online now. We're on iTunes, and we're selling a lot of music on iTunes and Rhapsody and Napster and all those Amazon. We're selling a lot of music. But, we're being sold all over the world. The Boogeyman and I started up an internet radio station called Bandido Radio over 12 years ago. And that station became BNet Radio, and BNet Radio has got over 120,000 listeners. And so it's become a monster. We got into legal battles and won't go into that why we're not there no more. Then we started amigosradio.com. And because of the finance situation, it was very expensive to keep the station going. We just kind of let it go. But Boogie's coming back on in Las Vegas because of technology. He's going to be able to broadcast from his laptop on TejanoHitsRadio.com.
In between gambling here?
Between gambling. He may be taking his laptop to the Maquinitas.
That's great. You know, I admired you all for a long time.
I know. I appreciate that, Ben.
Yeah. You know, you had a morning show, and I remember listening to the Chorizo Crew every morning. And so you had a lot of insight as to what was going on in the community. Unfortunately, we don't have anything like that right now.
You're right.
Not to bash Univision or Telemundo, but they cater to a different audience.
Right.
Let's just be plain and simple here.
Right.
The Mexican-American people that have lived here pretty much all their lives, most of them don't listen to that.
Right.
Yeah. So we have like a big gap in our community.
Right.
Nobody's really focused on our community.
No, you're absolutely right, Ben. I mean, back in the days when we were on the air, you know, we were putting, you know, we had Mickey Lina on the air, Mario Gallegos, Ben Reyes on the air. We used to talk to them and call. We even tried to call the mayor a couple of times and, you know, harass them. And then really we called the Houston Chronicle when the rodeo didn't cover our event and failed to cover it. When we had a sellout crowd the very first time, we had to call the Chronicle. We made everybody call the Chronicle, cancel subscriptions. And the Chronicle went down there and they told Mrs. Baker, "Get your dogs off." You know, these are all the things we did for the community. And then, so I mean, you know, it was very effective. And one great story I like to tell, the power of radio, and it goes back to what you're saying. One lady was calling saying, you know, Boogie Jumbo Jess, we can't get nobody to our PTA meetings at Milby High School. And maybe you can make some announcements and get people to go. And then we promoted it for a whole week, Ben. And they had about 4 or 5 that used to go. Well, we got up to 95 people showed up after we promoted it on the radio. Parents get involved with your kids. Parents go to the PTA meeting. And the following week they called, "Hey, Jesse, thank you." 95 parents showed up to our PTA meeting.
That's
so
awesome.
It just shows you the power of radio and the great things that we could do. And, you know, people's houses burned down. We would support a barbecue and Little League openings and get behind the, you know, people get involved to vote, you know, and we were really making things. So it's so much power in the media, Ben. And that's another reason why we as Hispanics are not as organized as we like to be, or we're not as passionate about things, because, you know, and you're the one that woke me up that we are leaders in the radio, and leaders in the community. We never saw it like that. We were just saying, hey, we're having a great time on the radio, having fun. But, you know, it was people like yourselves that said, you know what, guys, y'all are really making a difference in the community. And, you know, you kind of woke our eyes up, and people really respect you and they appreciate you. And y'all are doing a lot to, you know, educate the masses, the Tejanos, that make them feel proud about themselves. Because they're always like Stevens and Pruitt were back in the days making fun of us. Now we had an opportunity to make fun of the Weddles on the radio and make people turn the things around. Talking about Ash Wednesday and you know, Catholicism and, you know, those things but we could make fun of it about taking your tortillas, taking your lunches, and taking your tacos to lunch and being proud and not to be embarrassed anymore, and kids to be proud of their names and, you know, all those things, and you know, wearing your Stacy's to school. You know, as we used to talk about stories like that, you know, and guys in gym would go with their Stacy's and their gym shorts and their chones hanging outside their gym shorts. You know,
Dave,
like Brave Dave. But, you know, those are the fun things that we can talk about. We can go on and on, Ben, but it's, you know, that's first topic for another time. But now that you're talking about, Facebook has been loaded. I think tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of Selena's death. And it's going to be 19 years, Ben.
already.
19 years
Wow.
that we've lost her. And I've been seeing posts by, you know, people like Virgil Ornelas, who is very good friends, and putting up a lot of pictures and people recognizing her great smile. Or, you know, Selena was another great hero that we lost, you know, that was promoting Tejano, that was going to make that big crossover. She was going to be the next Gloria Estefan, the next, you know, America Ferrer on video and TV and acting. You know, yeah. Selena had all the potential and was taken away from us.
In your opinion, of the Houstonians that were in Tejano music, which ones were really up there?
Well, of course, La Mafia, they did a great job, you know, and they still are up there. You know, they got a great management, they got a great plan. I know people say they changed their music a little bit, but they made it more broader, more international. La Fiebre were very up there. I remember back in the day, they were so hot. Because I worked in the club business, that, man, we were paying them $10,000 a show at the Island Club, So, I mean, that was big money. I think Jay Pettis and David Lee, who to me were one of my favorites, and they would pack it in. When they came together, and we'd have a line outside the door. Jimmy Gonzalez, Grupo Mas is another great one. Latin Breed back in the day, Roberto Pulido, they were all great artists in that time.
So which ones are from Houston?
From Houston, I'm sorry, La Mafia, La Fiebre is from Pasadena. Those are the two major ones. And now Grupo Viso has done a lot. They've gotten a couple of Grammy nominees and so forth, but they're a good horn band. They've done, and a good, now Mr. Bob Gallarza, who's moved to California, been in Houston another 20 years. He's done made a lot of great music.
So do you see, by any chance, any upcoming Tejano stations besides, I know it takes money, but have you heard any rumors out there that there's going to be a Tejano station?
Well, there's a possibility. It's all with management. There's a gentleman out of Angleton, Texas, and some people may know him. His parents lived there, but it was Bolio Gonzalez. And he was the operations manager in San Antonio for Univision. Well, they cut him loose, because it's a corporate world. Money, he was making good money, probably six-figure income. So they want to cut at the top. So they let him go, give him a severance package. They stay out of the market for 1 year. Well, he got hired by CBS Latino, which is so he's been talking about it and looking at it. So, but everybody's so scared because you got to make all the right decisions, because he makes the wrong decision, he could lose his job. But he loves Tejano, but at the same time, he's talked about it. And Bo Corona is still working for CBS. So they've talked about now what it takes is for a station not to do well, and they say, okay, here's a format that's going to fit. Let's try this, or let's take a chance on something. And if the timing's right, there's a great possibility, Ben. It just
switch it off.
Switch it off, but it's just a matter of key people in management. So we got somebody there, the right station, and the right players are coming in at the same time. So there's always that possibility.
So what does a retired DJ do nowadays?
Well, thanks to you, he gets more involved in the community. You and I'll tell everybody over and over again, you saw the leadership in me that I didn't think I had. So I went to the Leadership Institute. I became, chairperson for NHPO. I'm still involved as the treasurer. I'm helping the Leadership Alumni Group. I'm helping out the Leadership Institute. I got my daughter signed up on there, helping the next generation, building the next generation of leaders, Ben, like yourself, finding that potential and cultivating and developing these new leaders. I'm also now with the Knights of Columbus, helping them out, getting more involved with them. And then now I'm also on the board with the Denver Harbor Senior Citizen Center, and with a good friend of mine, Dee Leal. She invited me to be on the board for the National Hispanic Council on Aging. So I'm sitting on these boards.
You fit right in.
Yeah, fit right in, exactly. And then Juan's asked me to be his media relations person for this Hispanic Film Festival, which we're going to talk about, which is, I think, it's well overdue. We're way behind. As an international city, Ben, we're way behind in having something like this. There's a lot of things we don't have. And Juan had the passion to really make this thing happen. It's in Denver, they got it in New York, they got it in LA, they got it in a bunch of cities across the United States. And we're like one of the last ones to jump on it. So, thanks to Juan, we're bringing in films from all over the United States. Also got some films from France. And it's going to be at the TBH, the Talento Bilingual de Houston.
Is Balamar's film in there? Balamar Rodriguez?
No, you know what? Okay. I don't think he entered it yet. So, so anyway, that's another.
We're waiting.
We're waiting for it. He hasn't knocked on the door yet. But you know what? One interesting film, and you talk about bringing Tejano music together and so forth. There's a 30-minute documentary on a group from Houston called Los Hermanos Cortez. And what one of their nephews did, he graduated from University of Houston in a degree in film and communications. So his aunt put up the money. So they did a documentary of 4 generations of conjunto music, of accordion players. And Same family. Okay. So they have the little boy, he's about 12, 14 now, plays the accordion. But his great grandfather was playing the accordion, had a group, and then his dad, and now the younger son sings, which is Mr. Cortez. I'll think of his name in a little while. It's always on my mind. But anyway, long story short, it goes through the history and interviews people along the way. You got Gus Scotterstein and the musicians, and talks about them, the history and why the traditions carry through. It's called Tradición, and that's going to be one of the documentaries that Juan's going to show. We got it in at the last minute. Ms. Lujan put up the money for it, and it's a great documentary. It's a tearjerker. It'll bring some tear to your eyes.
We're going to take a little break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the Hispanic Film Festival coming to Houston. There's a number on the bottom of your screen if you would like to participate in this discussion. We're live right now, so you can call in and participate in the discussion that we're going to have with these two gentlemen. So we'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Latino Talk TV. We're here in Houston Media Source in Houston's East End. We're going to talk about the Hispanic Film Festival. And we have the gentlemen that are responsible for the film festival here with us today. And we're going to share a little bit about it. Juan, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Thank you, Ben. I, like Jesse, noticed that or became aware that there's not a lot of representation in media. Like there used to be, or in radio, but and not in radio, but on the big screen. Certainly on the small screen with TV, we see Latinos being portrayed as anything but what we really are. Look at you. I mean, you're a professional. Jesse, the same.
So we're not all landscapers.
We're not all landscapers.
Or drug dealers, right? Or prisoners.
Drug dealers, gangsters and whatnot. And it's called the Encuentro Film Festival because I wanted to combine films not only from the U.S., but from Latin America, our brethren there. Right?
So are they Spanish films as well?
Yeah.
In Spanish?
In Spanish.
Okay.
And we have English subtitles. They're films in English. And so I wanted to present a contrast, not between the films, but what Hollywood has given us and what's coming in from these other countries, right? That what's the difference? The difference is only from their origin. We're very good creators. Just as being Latinos, I'm a little biased to say that I think we're a pretty dangly good creative group of people. And so I was surprised to see just how good the films were. The films are, the animations rival Pixar, the dramas and the scripts and the music score, the acting is superb and the quality is very good.
So this film festival goes from today until Sunday.
Until Sunday, yeah.
This Sunday.
Yes.
So it's a full 7 days of films.
Yeah.
So instead of having to buy tickets over there at the Cinemax, you can buy a ticket at TBH and watch all kinds of movies.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
There's a long list here. I couldn't read them all if I wanted to because I need glasses. But I tell you what, that's some serious movies there for those avid movie goers that would like to see documentaries and the history of the Latino film industry?
Yeah, we've got some really great pieces. What's unfortunate is that, well, it's kind of good and bad. We made a call for entries, and I said, okay, we'll get 5, 10 films. That'd be great. That'd be fill up my day. Well, within a couple of months, I had well over 200-300 films that were submitted.
Wow.
Right.
And so you get watch all these films and then choose which ones?
Yeah, yeah. So during the fall and winter, that's what I spent doing, is just going through these, and they're all really good. I'd say maybe 10 were not that great, and great effort. But the hardest part was making the final selection to narrow it down to 30, and then making the final selection for actually screening them. And that was very, very hard, because
That's a big task. I mean, what are these averaging? About an hour film, an hour and a half film?
Yeah, so we have shorts. The majority are the full-length feature films.
Okay.
And so we also have the animations now. What's really neat is that we were getting films from areas in between Spain and France, which are, when we went out there, it was easier to get along with people speaking Spanish. The French spoke Spanish. And so we were getting films from Colombia that were produced and directed by the French. And so I talked to the French folks here who have a lot of cultural events, and I said, I've got a bunch of films here, a great group of films. What do you think we'll set aside Sunday and play them? Some of them in Spanish with French subtitles.
Wow.
Some are in French, and these are made in Spain or Colombia, and they're actually speaking French and with English subtitles. It was just a variety. And
is this the first time that we've done anything like this here in Houston with the Hispanic?
Jesse?
There was about 15 years ago, I remember somebody made an attempt to do a film festival. It was over like 2-3 days, and it was at the Meyer Park Film Theater. They don't have movies there anymore, but it was at the old Meyerland Mall back in the days, but it didn't last. It just went through 1 year. So somebody made an attempt, but nobody, really came or supported it. Now, Juan is looking and doing a really great job of making this happen. He's got some, big sponsors in there trying to make this thing happen and step up to the plate. So anyway, you got to congratulate, like Javier was telling, our producer for the show, is telling, tonight is this very special show about a father who's dying. He has a ranch or a farm, and he wants his son to take over, and his son's in the corporate America circles, and so it's that battle, and his dad is passing away. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a great film. It was produced by, in the U.S., in California, by a director from California, and it was actually shot in El Campo. And it's again...
Is it like a farm county? I mean, farm city?
Well, I don't know. El Campo... Are you?
Never been there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, it's a ranch farm area. Yes.
Yeah, towards the Wharton area, and and there's nothing monolithic about Texans, right? We are Czech, we're Tejanos, we're Mexican, we're German, we're everything. And in this film, we see the reality of today, right? It's about a Mexican American family whose son has made it well in California and comes back. And then we have a Venezuelan recent immigrant, right, who is the supporting actor in this film. So it blends in the reality of today. Like Jesse said, we're a gateway city, we're an international city, and so there was a lot of pushback from Hollywood to do these kinds of movies. We're hoping through the network we're building, through Denver, New York, LA, San Francisco, Seattle, and of course Houston. We're in Peru and Argentina. We just got some great reviews, a lot of great press from South America. I got it today. And Denver's got, the Denver Post has said a lot about it. We've got people in line from...
So you got a lot of folks from all over looking at what's going on in Houston.
And you know what, Ben, the great thing about what Juan is doing, that there's going to be an award for the best film. Okay. So that's going to start the precedence for people to want to get more, because they know if they become the winner of this film festival.
Spotlight.
Exactly, and then when there's possibly more people viewing it and watching it and seeing it,
Sure.
and getting distribution, more money's coming in for that person. So that was a great idea on
All
his
the
part.
judges?
I'm one of the judges. He's got some more judges involved.
Yeah, we've got a board of governors, and they're consisting of people from academia, entertainment, right? And then we accent that, we add to that by having 3 people, and that forms a jury.
So are they going to watch all these films?
Yeah.
Or you're going to
Yeah.
have certain ones that you're going to point out to them, say, hey,
No, that's I don't even know. I won't even know the results, and we want to keep it impartial. We want to bring a sense of a degree of integrity.
I can pick one just by the name. The
Yeah.
name sounds good.
Which one?
There was one here.
Yeah.
It was in Spanish. It caught my attention. What is that? Arma Blanca?
Oh, that's an amazing movie. But like everybody, y'all come out and see it. So Jesse's right. We're having not only best film, we've got best actor, and that's non-gendered. Best actor, best director, best new director, best animation, best short film, and then best in the French section. And the awards night will be Saturday, and it will be connected with all the other locations that I named.
So
And
It'll be on
we got to
YouTube
tell you real
too.
quickly, he's having a VIP reception. He's bringing Isai Morales, the brother of Richie and La Bamba, and he's now on Criminal Minds. He's also been on Law and Order. So Isai Morales is flying in from Hollywood to support this event.
awesome.
Yeah.
Friday for a VIP
Yeah,
reception.
yeah,
So all the ladies going to be there. As I say, Mary
Really?
Claus, they're taking pictures.
I don't know about that, but I thought they would be Ben and I would be
La Bamba, you're going to have the soundtrack playing in the
He's
background?
Richie.
That's good.
So we want to open the door for Hollywood and let them know we're here. We're supporting them. We're supporting Latino Hollywood. I've talked to a lot of these actors and producers, and there is a lot of pushback from Hollywood to do to do things that we like, right? Just like with the radio, there's a lot of pushback from that institutional.
This is your
mindset.
first time doing this yourself?
I am. I'm
So
lucky.
it's an eye-opener. You're
It's-
seeing what's
yeah.
going on behind the scenes.
I am. Luckily, there's people with a lot of experience at this in Denver and all the other places. They've been doing this for a while. And I think what's novel is that we're all going to have it on the same time, on the same day.
Well, I mean, you have some great sponsors. I don't know if you can capture this or not, but there's some great sponsors. You got Ford, Walmart, obviously TBH, HAA, I'm not sure what that is.
Houston Arts Alliance.
Okay, and of course NHPO. So you have some great backing. Congratulations for having backing the first year. Usually sponsors don't jump on
Right.
unless you have a couple of years behind you.
Exactly.
But that's good.
Well, actually, this will be done twice a year in the spring and the fall, only because we're just getting a flood of films, and a lot of people want to join us in other cities. They want this to happen. And like one of the actors I spoke to, one actor, a director from Hollywood, he says, Juan, if we'll support you, right? Tell us who you want out there. We'll support you and support all the other cities because you're helping us. I said, how's that? He said, well, we can build it and they will come. And to kind of get the attention of Hollywood, that we want something that's relevant to us, right?
You know what? My hat's off to you for even
really.
thinking about this, because
Exactly.
let me tell you, this is a monster program. It's a week's worth of action items, if you will. I mean, it's hard enough just to have one day event, okay? When you're talking about a 7-day event, I mean, you talk about some serious time that you
Right.
need to sacrifice in putting this. So my hat's off to you for making this happen.
Actually, Ben, my hat goes off to you because Ben was the one that was in the ropes course in leadership, and I was trying to get up that pole. Like, come on, Juan. I'm like, okay.
Take the risk.
Right?
For those of
So-
you that are not familiar with the ropes course, it's basically literally a course made of poles. So you're crossing from one pole to the other on a line. You're jumping from poles. So it's really a mind game, if you will.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It determines how far you can take yourself. You got to pass that limit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so some people are afraid to jump. Well, it's a mind thing. Once you know that you're not going to hurt yourself by jumping,
Right.
then you're able to do it. But until then, you're stuck on the pole.
You're stuck on the pole.
You're stuck on the pole waiting to see what happens, right?
And you and I have had this conversation. I bring it up, you probably forgot it, but it stayed in my mind, right? And yeah, I came to realize that that's what it is. So when you talk about this effort, right, I don't see it as a monumental effort. I see them as individual tasks, right? Just like going up the pole, right? It's one step at a time.
One step at a time.
And it was just that. The obstacle course really prepared me for whatever this is. For me, it's just a lot of days, and I just put them in categories, and there we go. I mean, I could rattle off the event, you know, minute by minute. I know what's going to happen.
Juan, can you tell everybody real quickly before we go off the air, the websites for people who can find it?
Yeah, it's mundialdecine.com.
And then you have another one also with the tbhcenter.org, right?
Right, of course.
You can
right.
go to link there, and also you have a Facebook. You want to
We have a
mention that?
Facebook. It's Encuentro Mundial de Cine 2014. The main page of mundialdecine.com will take you to all the other cities, as well as Houston. You get more information, buy tickets.
I'm just curious, because we call it the Latino Film Festival,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. But are you getting any kind of resistance from other communities, or are they jumping on the bandwagon?
Well, the other communities, it's funny, I'm glad you asked that. The other communities see it as a natural bridge. I mean, we're building bridges. It's an encounter, an encuentro, right? We're not being divisive. However, some media outlets have called me or emailed me and said, what do French films have to do with the Latino Film Festival? And I just said, you know,
It's international.
it's international, and we're building bridges. Our French cousins, our cousins from Italy, Brazil, Portuguese.
And it was
we're
like
all
you
the
said
same.
too, like, you know, here's the French filming in Bogota,
Right.
So, you know, or in Venezuela. So it's filmed on Latin American countries. So that's the bridge. Then the other thing is people sometimes they taught when the foundation's Latin is the foundation for French, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese, as you mentioned.
And
people
Tex-Mex.
And Tex-Mex, and people forget about that.
Oh, yeah. It
So,
is.
and then the other thing I was going to tell you to tie into it, Ben, today's the birthday of Cesar Chavez. And then, of course, this past weekend they had the release of the new movie, and it was, and also President Obama supposedly proclaimed today as National Service Day. So, and they didn't want no celebration for his birthday or anything else. It's National Service Day, so encouraging everybody to do community service on behalf of Cesar Chavez in his remembrance. And we need everybody to go support the movie. It's a great family movie. It's got some great actors.
That's why we need another holiday. Another paid holiday.
Oh, yeah. No.
But it's already celebrated in California and Colorado and now Texas. So anyway, and it's not a paid holiday, just a day for us to celebrate and to recognize.
The other thing that I wanted to show them, because one thing that caught my attention was all the flags.
Yep.
Okay, who did your artwork? They did a great job.
Yeah, we've got a guy that is just a genius artist, right? And,
Who's that?
Jorge Padron, right? And I said, hey, you're out of work. He said, I'm out of work.
You had to throw that in.
I had to throw it in. And I saw his work, and I said, you know, what can I do? Do you need some work? He said, yes. And so I said, okay, you know, let's do some work on some things together. He's done a great awards trophy. It's fantastic. He's done some animation with that, and he, you know, we're very, I say we, the people, the Latino culture is just so creative.
And I wanted to mention one thing. I forgot the name of the individual, but it's Monico Cortez, Senior and Junior. That was the film we want to see. And they have a huge family, a huge following. Conjunto music. It's called Los Hermanos Cortez. And then that was the father. That's Monico Senior. His son has started a group called MC2, which is Monico Cortez #2. But you know how everybody goes to the initials. So anyway, he has his own group, put out his own CD. But it shows about the 4 generations of Conjunto music. And Juan was very generous to add that piece at the last minute to the film festival. And so we have our own film from Houston with a young film director graduate from the University of Houston. So we definitely want everybody to go out and support this event. Thank you, Juan.
You're quite welcome. Actually, we talked and said and I was moved by the piece she submitted, is about Latino veterans, right? We have a strong tradition of that in the families, and it's always been that way. And we want to dedicate the film festival and the awards night Saturday to Latino veterans.
Awesome.
There's a lady. The lady he's speaking about is a lady named Estela Lujan, and her husband is a veteran, and she's been doing getting a lot of information on veterans. And then there's another great story behind it. She's building another documentary. This is her second one, and it's a story about Paulino Bernal. As you know, he's a great conjunto accordionist and songwriter and musician from the Valley. He's now doing more of religious and gospel music. But Paulino Bernal is a legend in conjunto Tejano music. He's the foundation. Well, anyway, some individuals raised money for him to go to Vietnam to perform for the soldiers there, and this is what the story is. It's from the valley to the jungle, and so because the story she tells it is that a lot of veterans are very homesick. They have never been, outside the valley or their hometown, and they're killing people left and right in the Viet Cong and the war in the jungle. And so Paulino went over there to perform for the veterans. And it wasn't so much about the killing as it was the loneliness and the missing home. And when he came there to play for the veterans, it said it just really, made everybody cry, laugh, sing, and have a good time. And
All the emotions.
all the emotions, and remembered everybody about home and why the reasons they were fighting.
So tell me about some of the people that will be there on Saturday and Friday, for that matter.
Yeah, so we have producers, directors, actors. He named Isai, and Hollywood Latino is paying attention to Houston right now. Besides Isai, we have Lourdes Colon. We would know her for Without a Trace. We have Fanny Belize, who did Homebound and actually appears in a lot of commercials. We have Jennifer Behrens, who's she was in Without a Trace, and the other one was not Criminal Minds, NYPD Blue. But Hollywood Latinos coming out they want to support what we're doing because, again, we want to showcase, we want to provide an outlet for them. I really want to see how we're portrayed on the screen change. And this is part of that effort. It's something for the community more than anything else. So,
I'd really like to see a movie about our producer, Mr. Jordan over there. He's getting married pretty soon. A documentary on how he survives.
first few years. Yeah.
How he survives marriage the first couple years,
Yeah,
exactly. From the beginning to whatever year.
We might have to make that a reality series. Might make some money on MTV.
And by the way, our producer he's a volunteer, and he's Anglo. Okay, this is a Latino show, right? This is a Latino show. He's an Anglo, and he's dedicated his time to this show, and we want to give him heads off, right? Because
Right, of course.
he's done a lot of work for us, and not to mention Javier and Pat and the rest of the family have all contributed to their time, volunteer. We're all volunteers, and so thank you for your time on Monday nights. It's a big sacrifice, even though it's just 1 hour. Driving over here, and then you spend an hour, and then another drive back. It takes at least 2 hours out of your day on Monday. So thank you for your time. Now let's get back to this. Now, if I wanted to attend, do I just show up, or how does it work?
Yeah, you show up and they'll take your ticket there.
There's a small fee.
Right.
Yeah.
And you go on in.
And so one ticket, I can attend all these shows right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a day pass, you have an individual movie pass, and you get a week pass, a festival pass.
Okay.
Right.
So you get the VIP one week special, huh?
Yeah, you can get that. And
Okay. And so whoever buys the tickets can go to the reception?
they'll go to the Saturday reception. We wanted to keep the. I'm glad you asked that because SIE is here to support a documentary that he was a part of, right?
Okay.
With Lourdes Colon, who was a heroic woman that survived cancer, and it's about her journey with cancer. So we're raising money to help that effort, which will some more interesting things are following with that. They'll be coming up soon, and you'll be the first to know.
So I'm just clarification.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there food, drinks?
Yeah,
Is there,
right.
So if you were to take kids, I mean, you think the kids would be okay there, or it's
Oh, no.
no kids?
It's all family. Yeah,
Okay.
it's very family.
No X-rated movies?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's all good. Good.
Yeah.
Well, again, congratulations for all the work that you've done so
Thank you,
far,
man. Yeah.
and I look forward to it getting bigger and bigger every year.
Us too. Yeah, want to do that. Hopefully, we will be growing so that more people can show their film.
Is it true you're going to start a Cheech and Chong film festival?
Right? Yeah.
You going to Colorado?
Yeah, I always wonder about the folks in Denver, right? They're like, what? Oh, never mind. But no, they're great.
So is there beer and wine at this event? Beer and wine
Beer and wine at the receptions.
at the reception?
Yeah, but certainly not in just general. Let's get a beer and
Right.
So it's, we want to keep it family and.
So, but they can bring their own snacks, right?
I
They can sneak them in.
guess, yeah.
Well, we have to talk
You're not
to
going to pat them down?
Yeah. We used to do that. Remember back at Austin.
You're gonna-
Bring your own tacos, but don't let Javier see you eat them
Right.
at the theater.
Pick up your stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Little juice boxes.
Give us one more time the web address and the phone number.
Mundialdecine, all one word, .com. Yeah, mundialdecine.com. And you can just Google Encuentro Mundial de Cine 2014, something about film in Houston, and I've seen the results and it comes up right on top, which is really good.
So have you had any media coverage today?
Yeah, today I had an on-air interview with JP member from 740, JP Pritchard.
Okay.
He's on News 92.
92.1?
Yeah.
Great.
Great, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse. And we actually had Irene from New York, our festival organizer up there. Colin, we get great, I don't know, people
Support.
are just,
Starting.
it's really great talent. She's a Academy Award nominee.
Has Univision or Telemundo covered it?
Sunday we were on with the Univision station, and of course Channel 11 being the local affiliate for CBS is like they want Isai there because he's part of the
CBS network.
The CBS network.
Oh,
And
no. You remember Lala from Lala's World?
Yeah.
Oh, she's going to be there too.
Oh, good. That's good. So any last minute details you want to share with the audience?
no, we want the community to come out. It is for the community. It's to see that there's more than just Hollywood out there and great creative filmmakers, and that is something to share with the people of Houston, and share with not only American films, but Latin American films, worldwide films, both ways, Houston and abroad.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Jesse and
Thank you,
Juan.
man.
Thank you, Ben.
Appreciate it. Wish you all the best. Hopefully you get
Thank
a
you.
lot of people out there
Yep.
to support your cause.
Thank you.
You're here watching Latino Talk TV. We'll be here every Monday, live TV from 6 to 7 p.m. If you would like to participate, you can call in and participate in the discussion that we had today. You could have done that today if you wish. But thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Thank you.